Hi, welcome. This is a very quick introduction to iBooks and just the basic ins and outs of the app. We'll get into note taking and widgets and a few other things in another video. So this will just be the basics. I'm going to launch iBooks. I have it down the center of my dock. And since I use iBooks often, I find it helpful to keep it there. The main organizational screen of iBooks looks like this. Um, you see the titles are listed there. These are the order in which they were put into my iBooks library, the most recent at the top. I can toggle through different views at the bottom. It can alphabetize by title. It can go by author. I can put them into different categories, right? Um, and then at the top, you see some important icons. Store, I'll launch that, is exactly what it sounds like. Connects me to the iBook store as long as I have internet connection. And I can search in the top right corner for titles and see what I want to get. I'll enter in one of our English titles here, right? And then it'll search the iBook store and give me the options. A lot of different things are for free. A lot of things are costly, depending upon how you want to get content. The iBook store will work for you. And then in the top left corner of the iBook store, you can see it says library. That'll bring me back to my own device, right? Now, going on there, you see collections next to the store icon. When I tap collections, it gives me this. I can organize my books into different categories by creating new collections like that, but there's a distinction made between books and PDFs. Let me explain that. Books are either iBooks files, which are files created specifically for iBooks on an iPad or on a very recent Mac, and it also will hold EPUB files. EPUB is a general reader file that'll work on a Kindle, an Android, or in iBooks. PDFs, as you know, are kind of universal documents, and iBooks can read PDFs. I'm going to tap PDFs and bring into my PDFs collection. And you can see I just have a couple of things in there. This is a document I downloaded from the internet, and you can see when I view it as a PDF, I can rotate it, and my screen will rotate with it, and I can read, and I can turn pages, as you'd expect, right? I can highlight text. I can zoom in. I can highlight text. And notice my options here when I highlight text. I can copy the text. I can define it. Let me define it there using a dictionary, right? And then that dictionary will let me go out to the web if I want, right? But when I highlight text in a PDF, I do not have the option to take a note on it, right? I can't annotate this. If I had a PDF that I wanted to mark up and annotate, Notability is a much better choice than iBooks in this case. So if that's what you want to do with a PDF document, iBooks is somewhat limited. All right, so I just want to show that. Let's go back to my library, right? And I'm going to go back to my wide orientation for my video, and I'm going to go back to my books collections. All right, now let's talk about the different types of books you have in iBooks, just to kind of get some distinctions here. The first three that I see there, the Grammar, Rhetoric, and Composition, and Introduction to Literature, and Espanol 1. These are Kellenberg-created iBooks, and there are differences between these books that we should just kind of acknowledge. Some books in iBooks are made to be opened in portrait. Some are made to be open in landscape. In other words, some are meant to be read tall. Some are meant to be read wide. Let me show you what I mean here by choosing the Spanish book. Now, the Spanish book was designed for landscape orientation. So when you see the pages, they are meant to be read, two across like this. Now, with the Spanish book, I can turn my iPad, and the text will then scroll with me, like so. A nice feature about this is that if I tap the text, I can go to change the font size and make it larger or smaller. That is an option only when you do this, only when you turn to portrait mode. And you can see that I can scroll with this, right? Now let me go back to the way this is meant to be read, landscape style. And notice the text returns to its default size. All right. Now let me go back and show another book. We'll get into the features of these books in another video. The literature book, for example, is meant to be read portrait style. So as soon as I touch that, it automatically rotates the text for me. And no matter what I do, I cannot get this book to be read landscape because we intended the students to read it this way. These are choices that the designers of the book make. This is something that as the user you don't have control over. The way the book is made indicates that. So those are two of the iBooks. If you look, I'm going to go back to my landscape rotation. If we go to an EPUB book, for example, The Glass Menagerie and The Great Gatsby, down in my library, these were bought from the iBook store, and I use these to teach in class. If I go to Gatsby, Gatsby is rotatable. Here is Gatsby. I'll turn him, and there's Gatsby again. And again, I have that option of increasing or decreasing font size, as I did in the Spanish book, right? So some books have that, some books do not. Don't be confused or misled, right? On this main organizational screen in the top right corner, I have two icons. I have what looks like 6, I guess, little squares here. These are the icon view. I can change to have my bookshelf look like that. Not really making a huge difference. But the edit button, this is important. The edit button is a way for me to select different titles, and then I can move them. I can create new collections and move them. Say I wanted to create an area just for my school books and an area for my personal books. I could do that, or I could delete them. If I wanted to delete a book from my iPad and reclaim that space on the hard drive, I can do that, right? But I'm not going to do that, so I'll deselect these, right? And that is just a couple of the main features and organizational things in iBooks. We will get into how to use your iBooks in more detail in a later video.